guys, welcome back to my channel. Tonight we're doing a wine chat Disney Universal Studios version. A lot of you guys had a ton of questions for me about our trip because you're planning a trip. You wanted to know like tips and tricks and everything. So if you didn't watch the vlog already, I did put that up first. That was basically just showing you our entire vacation. But now I want to sit down and talk about like how much it cost, where we stayed, where we ate, what we did, what I recommend. I'm not a Disney pro. I'm not a Universal pro. I wore Mickey ears at first to Universal, but I just wanted to share everything. So I've got my wine. I figured I'd turn this into a wine chat because I have not done one in a while, and I haven't even done a sit down video in a while. So cheers. Okay, first I'll talk about planning and price. I feel like I have a fuzz. Okay, also my shirt's damp because I just took it out of the dryer for this video. It just says birthday girl 2021 because it was my birthday. It's my 32nd birthday that we went to Disney World for, which was not the plan. I'll get to that in a second, but this shirt I just got on Amazon for like, I don't know, $25. So you can definitely like last minute shop on Amazon and find tons of like customized items or just like Disney items in general. These I got on Etsy, which by the way, I was in the line at the bathroom in Disney World and girls were like, what year are your ears from? When did you get those ears? How many ears do you, like, apparently ears are like a big deal. No one asked me about my ears. They probably like, those are just Etsy ears. I don't know, but yeah, these were like 12 bucks from Etsy. I'll probably sell them on Poshmark after this because I probably won't wear them again for, I don't know. We might go back next year, but I'll get to that at the end. So, planning and cost. I think in one of my wine chats like a while back, someone had asked me about Disney World and I was like, girl, like, I don't know when we're gonna go to Disney World. Like, that'll be years from now. It's gonna like spend so much money, like we can't afford that. And then we ended up going like on a whim. What happened was, it was my birthday weekend coming up. I think we planned this like 2 or 3 weeks before my birthday weekend. My husband had gotten off one extra day, so Monday, so he had off Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday. So he had 3 days off. And typically we go to like Herman, Missouri, which is like a little wine country area, and we like rent a house with our friends. We've done that twice now. So we were planning on doing something like that, and it just we kept like pushing it off and didn't book anything. And then we couldn't find anything. My husband ended up finding flight tickets to Orlando direct from where we live for $59 a person. And he's like, that's a really good deal. Like, we could fly to Orlando for 59 bucks a person. And I'm like, that is a good deal. So he like did the math and he's like, okay, if we did that, rented a car, which we rented our car through Turo, which I think was just a little bit cheaper than like a regular airline, which Turo is kind of like, or airline, car rental service. Turo is kind of like the Airbnb of car rentals. So you rent like a real person's car for the weekend and you pay them. So that's what we did for our car rental. Then he found a condo that was like 10 or 15 minutes from Disney World and Universal, instead of staying on the property, which I think that is like a huge like up cost of your vacation if you're gonna stay on the property. And then also we got our Disney World tickets, and those were probably the most expensive thing that we couldn't like do cheaply. But our flight we did cheaply, our rental car we did pretty cheap, and then our hotel we did pretty cheap. So like I said, the flights were $59 a person. Rental car I think was like maybe $300. And then also we did a short trip. It was 3 nights. So it wasn't like a week long where you would spend like a ton of money because you're like there for, you know, 5 or 6 nights. We just did 3 nights. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. And then for our room, we found a condo. It was called Lake Buena Vista Resort and Spa. It's nothing like fancy. It was just kind of like, I don't know, just a regular condo. It had a master bedroom, a bedroom with 2 queens for the kids, a bathroom for them, our own bathroom, a dining area, a family room, and a kitchen. So it had a lot, and a balcony, and it was $200 a night. So that was a pretty good deal. So 600 bucks for our room. So 600 bucks for our room. Our flights were 59, and then the only like biggest expense was the tickets. I think they were 160 per person, and I feel like it was the same price for the kids too. So that was the most expensive, but other than that, I feel like it honestly didn't end up being that bad. Who's there? Right. Are you pulling down my inventory? Thank you. So anyways, I feel like the price wasn't that bad, which is why we're like, okay, I feel like we could do this. So we went ahead and booked it, and we had originally wanted to do something with our friends. So one of the couples was like, well, we can go to Disney too, and they live in Kansas City, so they flew out of Kansas City. They went a couple days before us and did their own thing, and then we all met at Magic Kingdom on Saturday. Got to hang out with them. They came back to our condo that night, and like we just chatted and stuff, so we got to hang out with them still, so that was really fun. My friend Haley, if you guys like watch our lives and stuff, then you know exactly who I'm talking about. She was so jealous because she wanted to go too, but she's like, that is way too short of notice. I'm not gonna be able to go and just like pick up the kids and afford that. And I was like, I totally understand. So next time we'll plan it like a little bit further in advance. But our other friends were able to come. So we got to spend one full day with them too, which was really fun. So that's kind of how it all happened. It was just like an impulse, let's just do this. So we decided to do Magic Kingdom. I felt like Magic Kingdom is like the #1 like place, especially for kids. Like it's like the castle, the characters. I was like, that's where we should go for the kids. And then let's do Universal the next day because it's more like nicer for adults, but then there's also stuff for kids. Maybe we weren't really sure. So that's what we did, was Magic Kingdom and then Universal Studios, which Universal is separate from Disney World. And at first I thought that that was one of the Disney World parks. I didn't realize that it was separate. But I'm like, oh, okay. So they're separate completely. I think they're like rivals. But those are the two places we did. So I'll talk about Disney World or Magic Kingdom first. Let's see. Let's talk about the rides. We ended up doing 4 rides total, which for the span of an entire day, it's not that many. There is an app that you can get on your phone to basically hold your spot in a line at any of the rides. So you're able to do that, and it's completely free, which was awesome. We didn't end up using the app until later in the day, like after we scheduled them for after our lunch reservations, which also you're supposed to make food reservations if you want to eat in any of the restaurants. If you want to eat like the kiosks and stuff, that's fine, but the restaurants, pretty sure you need reservations for them. So we did make a lunch reservation, but we rode It's a Small World, which is just a classic. I remember riding that with my family when I was a kid. That was actually, so I have a 5 and a 3-year-old son. My 5-year-old hates roller coasters, hates anything scary. So that was his favorite ride. And then after that, we rode the Jungle Cruise, which we waited in line for 80 minutes. I would not do that again. I would not wait that long again. If it was like a fast line, I would have done it, but honestly, that line was so long. When you see 80 minutes and you have 2 toddlers, don't do it. Like, it was like, they're getting like stir crazy waiting. So that was really hard. And then the ride was like not that great for that long of a line. But it was a fun ride. And then that one was like on a boat. And then we went to lunch, and then after lunch we did Peter Pan, which was really cool. You like kind of flew around. All the rides are super short too. So we did Peter Pan with the reservation, and then we did Buzz Lightyear with the reservation, and that's where you like shoot. And both of those were cute and fun for the kids. And then the last thing we did, which this was Cal's other favorite ride, was the Carousel of Progress. If you guys know what that is, you're probably like cracking up because it's like this, it's so like outdated. It's like a theater, and it's like this like robotic man with his dog, and he talks about like, you know, the old times, like the olden days, and how things have like just progressed. And so each like decade or whatever you're in the theater, your theater like moves to the next decade, and then it's a different scene. It's kind of like a play, but with like robotic people. Anyways, my boys were like fascinated by this. They were like just sitting there like watching this so intently, and then Cal was like, that was so cool, let's do it again. I'm like, we're not gonna do that again. So anyways, those were the rides we did. I guess that's technically 5 rides. But yeah, that was all really good. And then as far as like food goes, we did make reservations at the Skipper's Canteen restaurant. The food was just okay. It was really like kind of fancy. Like I got a steak, and then David got like chicken and rice. It was kind of like, I don't know, like an Asian inspired maybe type food, but it was like fancy. So I don't know, when I'm at a theme park, I'd rather just have like burgers and nachos. Sorry, David's cleaning the toilet in there. I'd rather have like burgers and nachos and like American greasy food than like a fancy sit-down place. But one thing that I did like about the restaurant is that they had alcohol. So at Magic Kingdom, they don't have like alcohol everywhere. If you want to have a beer or drink or whatever, you have to go into a sit-down restaurant. That was one of the reasons why we got reservations, so that we could make sure we were able to like have a drink in the middle of the day. So I got Blue Moon, and that was so good. And they also brought me out like a little like cake for my birthday. And at this point the kids had fallen asleep in the stroller, so that was awesome. And I'll talk about everything we brought too at the end of this video. So they fell asleep, so we just got to have like adult time having like beers and food, and it was so much fun. And then as far as other food, oh, we did go to Starbucks too. So there is a Starbucks there. The line was like basically one of the rides. Like it was out the door, like ridiculous line. Then when you order, then you have to wait in line for your drink, and it took so long. I also had the birthday coupon on Starbucks app, and they wouldn't honor that. So I'm like, really? Because I waited like all that time thinking, well, at least it's free, and it wasn't free. But it's okay. So that's basically the only places that we like ate at. And then as far as like shopping goes, I kind of wanted to like shop and look around. We went into like the main store, and this was like at the end of the day, so it's already like dark, and it started getting cold, you guys. It was like 55 degrees all day there. And so once the sun went down at like 6 o'clock, it was freezing. That's when we got our Starbucks. So I was like, I'm so cold, I wanted a hot drink. And we went into the store, and we could barely move in there. So we ended up leaving, like we didn't get to shop at all. And I don't know if it's because it was cold and dark and people wanted to be inside shopping, or if that's like the time that people shop for souvenirs, probably because they're gonna leave, so they shop at the end. So it was just too busy, so we couldn't do it. And then we ended up seeing Mickey Mouse right after that. So another thing I realized is that none of the characters were out. Like they were like on like little floats. So they have like parades that come through like every hour. And the characters would be like on the float, but we only saw like 2 parades. And one of them, the kids were asleep, and they just like stand there and wave. So I was like, wait, where's like Mickey? Like I was thinking they were gonna get like autographs and all that. No, that doesn't happen anymore. Hopefully it will come back. But right now, because of COVID, they won't like come up to the kids. So we were able to meet Mickey. There's like a line for it, but thankfully it's like a short line. So we waited in line, and we got to like see him. They have like a little like rope, so you can't like touch him or anything, but you can like take a picture with him and like talk to him. So that was still like fun and cute, but I was like kind of disappointed that they didn't get to like, you know, I just like envisioned Magic Kingdom when I was a kid. There's just characters everywhere, and you just like run up and like give them a big hug. So they didn't get to do that. I think that's pretty much it as far as Magic Kingdom. Overall, I will say one more thing is the fireworks. So we did do the fireworks at the end. We actually took the ferry back and watched them right from the parking lot, or like the edge of the ferry parking dock, and we had like the perfect view and no crowd, because David was like, it's about to get busy up in here. Like they're like taping things off. And I was like, this is, and who knows, maybe we missed something really cool. There's probably a parade or something, I don't know. But my kids thoroughly enjoyed watching them from the parking lot. They were just like, that was also my son's favorite part. He was like, that was the coolest thing ever. The fireworks were amazing. So overall, it was really fun. Would we go back to Magic Kingdom? Probably not. Like, I'm glad we like did it, but I don't think we'd go back there. I think we would try a different park for sure. I don't think it's somewhere you'd want to go like every time. It was really fun. Don't get me wrong. I know there's like Disney fans out there that are probably like, oh my gosh, it's the most magical place. Like, yeah, it was cool, but like, I don't think we'll be like rushing back there. I think if we do go, we might make another trip, like maybe next year, like the year after. We'll try, sorry, my son's up there screaming. We'll try one of the other parks. If you guys have a favorite park, leave it down below. There's Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. So any of those sound really great to me. I would also really love to stay on property. We would have to find like a really good deal. So that's pretty much it for Disney World. Next I'll talk about Universal. So I went to Universal Studios the next day. Right off the bat, I loved it. Let me take a sip because we're in between. Intermission. Okay, so right off the bat, I loved it because we're walking in and there's restaurants and stores everywhere. And I was like, what? This is so cool. There's like, it's like a boardwalk. It's called the City Walk. And there's, I remember going there with friends like way before we had kids, we went out to Universal. We went to the other park though. There's 2 Universal parks. We had actually gone to the other park, and then we went out like that night at those bars, and like there was like a karaoke bar and there's a Margaritaville, and it was so much fun. So they have tons of like great dining options out there, which is really cool. Just like tons of things to do. I'm like, oh my gosh, you could spend like a whole day just like hanging out on the... Okay, sorry, I ran out of space. But there's kiosks that have like drinks and stuff too. So like after we left, we stopped at a kiosk and I got like a little like plastic cup of wine. So that was kind of fun. But anyways, we get into the park. So before you're even in the park, there's like cool stuff to look at and everything. Stores, restaurants. Then we get into the park, and I think the first place we went, like the first way we walked was Dr. Seuss. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. I didn't know anything about Universal. Like I didn't know what was in there. Especially this one, because we hadn't ever been to this one. So they had Dr. Seuss, and it was so cute. And right away too, they had characters out. So instead of like at Disney where the characters were like far away, these characters were like out on the sidewalk. However, you still couldn't touch them. They had like ropes around them, so you couldn't like run up and hug them, but you could be like super close and take pictures with them. There also wasn't a big crowd there. It was not as crowded as Disney World, so that was really nice. So they got to meet like the little Whoville people, and then, is that who they are? I don't know, Thing 1 and Thing 2, like all those people. And they also got to meet the Grinch, which is like one of their favorites. So that was just so awesome. So we rode the ride inside of Dr. Seuss area. And that one was really cute and fun. It's just like a little like ride that goes through like the Dr. Seuss like house. And I think it was Cat in the Hat was the ride, and it got stuck. So it got stuck for like 10 minutes, and my son, like I said, he's so scared of rides to begin with. So he was like so frightened. He's like gripping the thing. Like he was so scared. We finally got off the ride, and they gave us fast passes. I think they gave us 8 fast passes. So it was enough for us to get through the day, plus we gave some away at the end to some other people, because I was like, we still have some. So that was completely awesome. Sorry, I just have, aw, that's so sweet. What did he buy? One of my friends just ordered from my boutique. Okay, anyways, the one we were on vacation with. So we did Dr. Seuss. Then we did, what did we do after Dr. Seuss? Oh, I'll talk about, oh, there's so many things to talk about. Okay, so we did a dinosaur ride in Jurassic Park that was really cool, but my 5-year-old hated it, and we like basically, we didn't force him to go on it, but we're like, we bribed him to go on it because we all wanted to go on it. Crew, my 3-year-old, really wanted to go on it. So it's a kid's ride. It's like a little swing that you sit in, just a 1-person swing, and it's 2 back to back. So the parent sits behind and the kid sits in front. They won't even let like 2 adults go on it because it's made for kids. And you just like swing over, like it's just like on a track, and you just swing around the jungle, and it was really cute. So we did that one. So we did those 2, and then we did King Kong. King Kong. Did we do anything else with them? Honestly, that might have been it. We did King Kong, which Cal really wanted to see King Kong, so we went on the ride, and he was terrified. I would not recommend that for little kids. Crew was fine, but Cal was so scared. He put his head in my lap the whole ride. So you're basically on a little bus, and you go through, I think it was in water, I can't remember, but you have 3D glasses, and it's just like things like kind of popping out at you. You're like in the jungle, and the bus like moves and shakes, and then like stuff like comes out like 3D, and there's like monsters, and he's like killing them, and then you get squirted. It was like so fun. Like David and I got off and we were like, that was awesome. Like Cal like kept his head in my lap the whole time. I'm like, it's okay. So he did not like that one, but we really enjoyed it. Crew loved it too. And then at the very end, like King Kong comes out, and so I was like, look. So he did look up for that part, and he liked that, but nothing else. So we did, I think that might have been the only 3 rides we did with the kids. And then David did this like fear fall one by himself. And then we each took a turn on the Hulk because we had fast passes. So we're like, let's just try it. It's like this big roller coaster. It was so cool. So we did all those rides. They had a lot of really cool roller coaster rides. Like there's a Jurassic Park one that looked awesome. They also had a couple water rides where you like go down a hill and like a big splash. Cal didn't want to do those, but I heard that those are really fun, especially the Jurassic Park one. So I heard there's like a big dinosaur that comes down. And then there was Harry Potter Land, which my kids aren't really into that. But they had a couple rides in there that we didn't do. And then also there was a Spider-Man ride, which I really wanted to do. Cal was tall enough, but he didn't want to do it. And Crew was too short, so we didn't end up doing that one either. But we did the Marvel Avengers island. So that was so cool. Basically, they had different areas, kind of like Disney, I guess. So they had the Dr. Seuss and they had the Marvel. So they got to meet superheroes. They got to meet Spider-Man and take a picture with him. It was so cool. There was other superheroes too that they got to see. And then in Jurassic Park, they had dinosaurs that you could meet. They had like a museum. So Cal like loved the museum. He was like climbing all around. He's like, this is so cool. Then we go outside and they had like someone walking around with like a baby dinosaur. And he's like, do you want to meet him? And he got to touch him. The dinosaur was so cool. And then we waited in line for another one. That was a raptor that they got to meet and like talk to and take pictures with. And the kids were just like they were so fascinated by it. And then also there's like Toonland, which we didn't do anything in Toonland, but I will say every single like land had a playground. So there was slides and there was like little like shooting water things in every single area. And my kids love that kind of stuff. They love to just like go down slides and like play on playgrounds. So we did every single little playground in every area and they had so much fun with that. I don't know if Disney has playgrounds. I don't think so because I never saw them. And also there was never anybody on them. So I feel like there was a lot of older people at Universal, like teenagers and adults, not as many little kids. So the playgrounds were like empty and the kids had them to themselves. Like it was just so fun for them. Yeah, so overall, I think Universal was like way better. I think especially if you have boys, like the dinosaurs, the superheroes, the Dr. Seuss, like they're so much more into that. They know those things versus like Mickey Mouse and Aladdin and the Jungle. We didn't even know the Jungle Cruise. Like there's just stuff that like none of us really knew about those things. Whereas there we like knew those people, those characters, those like areas. So it was like really fun. And then for food, we just did like a diner that day, like a quick, we ordered on our phone and just went and picked it up and ate inside. And I don't know what else I was gonna say. Oh, shopping. We did end up buying souvenirs that day. They each got stuffed animals. Cal got Grinches. He wanted 2 Grinches. They're like, you get 2 things. He wanted 2 of the same thing. And then Crew got Iron Man and the Hulk, little stuffed animals. So they got those and they just had such a blast. Oh, and also there's kiosks everywhere with food and drinks. So we did get like little snacks too, like every time, not every time, but when David and I would get like a beer, we would get like the kids like a pretzel or like a little snack, like a Powerade, whatever. So we were able to like get them stuff throughout the day too, which probably bring your own stuff or you're gonna spend a lot of money, but it was fun. It was also really fun to be able to like walk around with a beer and just like, I loved it. It was so much fun. And then afterwards, we had the boardwalk to walk around on. We had reservations at a dinner place for dinner, but we were so exhausted and it was dark and we were like, let's just go back to our room. So we ordered Uber Eats to our hotel room or our condo and just ate at home because we're like exhausted. So yeah, anyways, it was so much fun. So you can probably tell by my stories which one we kind of liked better. The crowds were less there. It was really fun. So I think definitely we want to go back and go to Universal the other side that we didn't do, and then we'll probably do a different Disney park again too. Like I think we'll go back for sure. And then as far as like what I brought, everyone told me to bring a stroller. We almost didn't. I was like, I didn't even think about that because I'm like, oh, they don't ever use a stroller at home. So we did. We brought our own strollers. So we brought the Bob double jogger. I'm so glad. I was gonna bring a single because I'm like, oh, just one of them they can share. No, bring a double. If you don't own a double, you can rent one there. Thankfully, we already owned one. It's pretty easy to pack, and we checked it at the airport. We checked it like at gate check, so we had it at the airport, and then right when you board the plane, that's when we gave it to the people to put away. So I was like, man, this is really nice, even just in the airport, because it contains your kids, and they enjoyed like staying in it. And then both days at Disney and Universal, they took naps in the stroller. Like I said, at Disney, they took like a 2-hour nap. And then at Universal, Crew napped twice. I don't think Cal napped though. So definitely take a stroller. We also brought our own car seats. We brought a booster seat for Cal because he's at the age where he can have that. We don't do that at home, but just for travel, we were doing a booster seat for him and a car seat for Crew. So take those, check them right away at the front, right when you check in for your flight. You can get rid of them. And then we just brought one big suitcase and we all shared it since it was just 3 days. And then as far as like clothes, We did bring a change of clothes for everyone except for David, but me and the kids all brought a change of clothes both days to the parks, but we didn't end up using them. I was like, meh, I'm fine. I thought I was gonna wanna wear like a dress and stuff at night, but I was like, so exhausted. I'm like, I'm good in my regular clothes. And then I ended up wearing, I wore Nikes both days, super easy to walk in. I did wear a skirt the first day and I do not regret it. A lot of people said don't wear a skirt. I wore biker shorts underneath, no regrets. And then I wore a big shacket over it because it was freezing. And then the second day I wore joggers and a tee and a shacket. So check Amazon out for like Disney tees. I also got the kids like matching little like zip up onesies from Amazon that have Mickey all over them. And they did have the Christmas stuff out, which was really fun. Also, I feel like it was a good time to go. We went second week of November, so it was pretty, or first weekend of November. So it was pretty slow from what I hear of what, you know, it was like off season. So that was good. I can't think of anything else. I'm trying to think of other things we brought. You might want to bring like little like Ziploc baggies, because if you're like at a restaurant, like when we were at the diner, we wanted to take their pizza with us and they didn't have anything to take the pizza in. So I had a Ziploc baggie from something else. So I just used that and put their pizza in it, because you know how kids are, like 5 minutes later, they're like, I'm hungry. And it's like, well, we just threw away the food you ate. So definitely like either bring snacks or bring food. And you can also bring, I'm pretty sure you can bring drinks in. I think we brought water in. So you can bring some of that stuff ahead of time. You can also buy them like toys ahead of time and like hide them and then pull them out and be like, oh, we just bought, you know, like you can do that if you want. We didn't do that, but a lot of people told us to, and I was like, that's a good idea. So we might do that next time, especially those bubble guns, because everyone wants those bubble guns and I'm like, we're not buying those. So we didn't spend that much on like merchandise. We only just got them each 2 stuffed animals and that was it. None of us got any clothes. We didn't buy any gifts. I thought we might buy some gifts, but we didn't. Anyways, I've been talking for a while. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this answered like most of your questions. If you're going, let me know. If you have tips, leave them down below, because like I said, this is our first time and we just winged it. I know you can like do a lot more things. You can like, I mean, people are like intense with their Disney stuff. Like they like plan everything and go all out. And I just feel like it was just a fun vacation. Like, I don't think you need to overdo it. You don't need to overthink it. Just go and have a good time. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Cheers, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.